This presentation is about the past, the present, and the future. I'd like to show you a high level, and this is kind of a prequel to what's coming later today, how this company started, and how did we get to the place and position where we are now. So 2004, Paris, France. Surprisingly, of all places, even though we are purely a Slovak company, this is where the company has been founded. It's been founded by Jan, our CEO and one of the first founders, and the reason or the story behind this is that he has been experimenting with algorithms at the university, and he was basically developing his own algorithm for fingerprint recognition. And when he had his prototype, he realized that the accuracy is actually far superior to whatever was on the market. So he has started the company and made it into a product. 2 years later, he came back home, and that's where the headquarters in Innovatrics is today, in Bratislava. And we've had our first product lineup. Those are the boxes. Obviously, those are only mock-ups. The SDK series that we've had back in 2006 were not really sold in boxes anymore. But this was our core product portfolio. And we could have stayed with that. There are plenty of companies still around today that only sell or focus primarily on selling SDKs. But we have realized that the SDKs alone will not really make us super successful for two reasons. First, those that have been purchasing those SDKs have been actually adding value through building a robust product suite around those. And second, it wasn't really commercially viable or very successful, so to say. So we have decided to use our fingerprint SDKs and add value, build a more robust solution around those. And in 2008, we have introduced our first AFIS. For those of you who do not understand or never heard about this acronym, I didn't know it either before I joined Innovatrics, honestly, and I came from the biometric background. AFIS stands for Automated Fingerprint Identification System. And that adds value. Not only is that a fingerprint extractor and matcher, etc., it really is a robust biometric database for fingerprints. So we have been presenting this bunch of exhibitions. This little white box here, it's actually a real hardware product that we have been and we are still producing till this day. It's so-called enrollment station. So this is where you enroll when you're applying for a passport, for instance. And 2009, we have had a major breakthrough. So our fingerprint AFIS has been purchased and deployed by the Republic of Ghana. And we have been delivering this project in order to issue passports. So it was a whole new passport issuance project. That gentleman in this cool yellow outfit is actually a president of Ghana. He was one of the first guys to test it. And that was really something exceptional because it really moved us into the league of our competitors such as IDEMIA and others. So we really had a full-blown fingerprint AFIS. Now, AFIS became ABIS. That little F letter is switched for or replaced with B because it's no longer a fingerprint identification system. It's a automated biometric identification system. And we kept adding new modalities, right? So this is a screenshot from the current version where, as you can see, we're storing pictures or faces, fingerprints, iris, signatures, palm prints or palm scans. So this is really our core bread and butter product, our flagship, and our revenue is primarily coming from this product. But we were not really satisfied with having a fingerprint algorithm only because the world was moving ahead. And rather than acquiring or purchasing external SDKs for different modalities, we have been developing our own facial recognition engine. That is something that has become very popular 3, 4, 5 years earlier. And we have introduced this iFace SDK, we call it, which was a very robust and functionally heavy product that we try to position on the enterprise markets, AFIS markets, or governmental and law enforcement, as well as mobile. We haven't really been trying to make sure that this little facial recognition engine would be operational on the mobile device because we saw the increasing interest in facial biometrics in general public. The problem was that it did not sell very well. It was a very well-designed algorithm, and as you've heard yesterday, we still have it till today. It's been actually awarded or benchmarked by NIST FRVT last Friday as being the most accurate matching engine for wild faces, which is a huge achievement. But as a product, it did not really take off, primarily because it's been just too difficult to use. While fingerprint biometrics is a domain for experts, and you don't often have a regular programmers dealing with fingerprints, facial biometrics was different. People, programmers, developers, engineers wanted to enable or extend their existing mobile or the server PC applications with facial recognition. They purchased, downloaded, tried our kit, and most of them failed. Why? Because they did not have any biometric experience, so it was very difficult for them to use it. And then they killed our supportive questions. They actually gave us a bad rating, so we figured the SDK as such is too complex and low level for the majority, because majority was interested in facial biometrics. It's a modality that's usable in multiple use cases, unlike fingerprints. So we figured we should probably show the world that it really is a good product. And so we built a demo for a desktop or server version of the iFace SDK. We built this nifty demo that was showing multiple use cases or features that the SDK was providing. This particular example shows you real-time facial identification, which is basically just detecting people in real time and assigning their names according to this watch list down there. And so we made this publicly available for download, and then a few months later, or a few weeks later maybe, people started to call us asking for this product. They said, we downloaded this demo, it's really cool, we'd like to buy it. We go, buy it? It's a demo, why would you buy it? Because it's great, it's all ready. All we need is just to add more cameras, because this particular thing is only working with one camera, webcam or external camera. And the market really showed us that this is a good way, and if you want to sell facial recognition as such, we really have to deliver something more than just an SDK, a low-level library. It was very much similar to the story with the ABIS, fingerprint recognition engines against the full-blown system. So we have designed and developed a product called SmartFace. There will be a dedicated session on this product later today, and I would really like to invite you and have you listen to our guys about the functionality, because it is a very robust solution using the world's most accurate matching facial engine. Just one high-level description. SmartFace can and does support multiple camera streams, real-time cameras, IP cameras, CCTV cameras, as well as video files. So it can process up to 10 camera streams per machine, per server, and it does perform real-time facial detection. So those little faces up there are all faces that the solution is detecting in real time, as well as facial identification. So you can define a watch list, add new faces to it, and then as you go, the system will try to detect every single face in that watch list. Right-hand side is the watch list, that's a reference image. Left-hand side is an actual image from the camera. And it's real time. So there's so many use cases that this can be used for. We are surprised ourselves by the ideas that our customers are having. The second major functionality is so-called facial grouping. So even though we don't know who the person in the image or picture or scene is, we can basically group different faces from different cameras under one identity. So we don't know who that guy is, but we know he has been spotted by multiple different cameras in different locations. Coming back to IFAS SDK, the low-level hardcore library, like I said already, we were focusing on the mobile world. Because we've seen an opportunity, we have been actually receiving a huge amount of inquiries about facial recognition for mobile devices. But the problem or story has repeated with ability to implement. 95% of people that tried the kit failed implementing it because it was too complex. And you know, biometric is really special. It's not black and white. It doesn't tell you yes or no. It is the same person or it is not. It just gives you a level of probability, a score, and there's all kinds of mathematics and statistics involved. So people basically were unable to implement it properly. So we did the same thing. We built a demo. And we thought, what's the most typical use case for facial recognition mobile devices? Facial authentication, right? Use your face to log in. So we built this little demo that is nothing else than a selfie login, as we called it back then. And we were running around presenting this to different customers. Why don't you use your face to log in? Just like iPhone X supports it now, you could have had that on any platform because we support iOS, Android, and etc. Surprisingly enough, the customers we talked to said, well, that's cool, but we are not really interested in this. This is not our problem. The authentication, multi-factor authentication, we have tackled it already. This is cool, but it's not really worth the money and effort. So we asked them, what do you need then, guys? And the answer has been very consistent across different verticals. They said, we need to be able to onboard, register new clients using biometrics, ideally remotely. So they don't have to come and visit our brick and mortar store. They would be able to do it from the comfort of their homes. And that's where we came up with the idea of DOT, Digital Onboarding Toolkit, which is really focusing on what it's in the title, so digital onboarding. It does use, or it uses an OCR algorithm to work with your ID, photo ID. It uses facial biometrics to do a proper facial match, so photo ID versus your selfie. And we try to design it as seamlessly as possible. So the whole onboarding process actually happens in 4 steps. First one being the ID scan. So the person is asked to take a picture of their ID, passport, ID card, driver's license. It should be a photo ID. Second, we extract not only the photograph, but also the personal details. And we ask the person to confirm that those details are correct, so you don't have to type your name and address and date of birth. And I'd just like to mention here that this recognition of letters is a tricky thing on IDs because you sometimes have a very small letters with special characters. So we looked around in the market to find a proper OCR solution to recognize these letters. And whatever we have tried wasn't really good enough. So using our deep learning team and AI experience, we actually have developed our own OCR, which we believe is the best on the market. Third step is taking a selfie. And again, we all take selfies, right? Especially those on Snapchat and the other platform, the social media thing. I don't even use it. What's it called? There you go, Instagram. Thank you. But in order to do a proper selfie that can be used for a facial biometrics purposes or matching, it has to have certain parameters, right? So it just can't be any picture from the side in dark environment. It should really have a certain quality so we can do a proper match. So that was quite a challenge. We have been experimenting with how to guide the user right, to do a proper selfie. We've started with a lot of icons indicating the head pose and having glasses or not. We figured people cannot really follow the instructions, so we made it as simple as possible. You will see that in the demo later today. The system is visually guiding you to do a proper selfie in terms of lighting, position of your face, etc. It's very, very easy and very fast. And the last step is liveness check. Very important step, because you don't want to have a customer or client that is onboarding themselves with a photograph, right? Because typically this transaction or this activity is performed in an unattended environment, so you can't really watch the client doing this process. So you have to make sure they really are there, present and alive. So we came up with our own liveness check algorithm. Again, you will see that in detail later today. And then the process is finished. So we basically compare the photo ID with the selfie, we evaluate the personal details, the liveness, and then we pack it all up, send it to the server, and the bank has the whole client registered and onboarded. So we have an ABIS that you've seen yesterday, most of you. This is the core brain of biometric world. We have the dot, which you just seen and I've described it to you. And we have the smart face. We have been designing and positioning these products independently. So we didn't really thought of connecting those because we didn't really see how would that help. But eventually, and thanks to our clients, we figured that these three products actually work together pretty well. And they complement each other, and together they create a fascinating ecosystem that can really tackle all kinds of use cases. So we really are moving from the typical biometric or AFIS world in the government and law enforcement into a mainstream enterprise. And while all of these products can operate independently, and they do, and we have customers that are purchasing only one or two of them, if you connect them all together, they give you a fascinating functionality, such as finance case. Dot, ABIS, smart face. Dot would help you with the client onboarding, so people on the mobile devices or through the web browser would onboard themselves. When this process is finished, you store the data in ABIS. You may perform so-called deduplication, making sure this client with this face is not already registered under maybe a different name. This is especially important when you provide loans and financing. And we can also use ABIS for the server-based authentication. So when you still want users to be able to do a selfie login with the picture, photograph, the ABIS can act as a central engine or brain to do this and make sure it's authentic. And then smart face being deployed in bank premises or offices, connected to CCTV cameras, can essentially process the live video streams, look for VIP clients. It can give a heads up to the bank manager there's a VIP client entering. It can act as a fraud prevention because it can detect weird or suspicious behavior, people showing up every day, not doing anything, hanging around for too long, or running from one branch to another. So you define the pattern, the system can give you a warning. So again, all these products can act independently, and we have several customers using DOT as a standalone solution. So they onboard, they store the biometrics data somewhere, but at some point it becomes necessary to have a proper biometric identity management system. And with SmartFace, like I said, you can tap into the existing CCTV camera infrastructure and work with real-life video streams. Another use case would be airport, seamless passenger experience. Imagine you can onboard or pre-check using DOT. So rather than going to the kiosk or a counter. You would just at home launch the application. You would type in your boarding card number and scan the QR code. You would do a selfie. So you attach the boarding pass to your face. This all would be stored in central biometric repository, ABIS, where you could also perform watch list checks. So while passengers are being registered, before even they arrive to the airport, you can check their faces, their details, personal details against publicly available watch lists, whether they are allowed to onboard the plane, etc. And then again, smart face using the CCTV cameras at the airport can perform customer screening, passenger pre-boarding, pre-check, real-time facial identification. So a person enters the departure hall, cameras see him, they know he's on the watch list, he's registered, he's checked in, so he can seamlessly roam through the airport and all the way to the plane. So this is our product portfolio that you will hear more about today. But it's not only about products. While we are obsessed with quality, innovations, and we really are listening to our customers. And by the way, you might have noticed that those two new products, Dot and SmartFace, have really been heavily influenced by the feedback from the market. So we really are listening to our customers, and we are trying to adopt and innovate a product so that we accommodate their requirements and inquiries. But the product alone is not enough. To get where we are right now, we needed more. We needed services. We needed to have a contact with our clients. So we have several service offerings that help you, our partners, and our end users to expedite the delivery, to show that our solution really works. So we are doing proof of concepts. You know, the usual use case or usual scenario is a bank is buying a biometric system and they want to see how it works first. So it's not only a demo, it's actual deployment in their premises. We do this. We do this with our partners. We do this on site if needed be. And this really helps to boost the business and sales process. Consulting. When you are designing a complex biometric solutions, there's a lot to know about scalability, hardware sizing, redundancy, etc. Given our experience, we really have experienced consultants that can help you with that. And so we design solutions that's sustainable. Delivery. Once we sell a project together, we do POC, we consult, we design it, we have to deploy. And while we are helping our partners to do it, we are personally able to come on site, do the implementation process, perform the user acceptance tests, etc. So we feel responsible for the project throughout the whole life cycle. We don't tell you, thank you very much for your order, have fun. We really are there with you to deliver it to the very end. Trainings. This young lady did not fall asleep at our training. It's just an image from the internet. We are really particular about the education because the biometric systems can be complex. And I see a lot of customers here today that have been through the process of implementing a biometric platform. And there's a lot to learn, a lot to know about how to use it, what are the shortcomings, etc. So we have a complex training program that, again, can be performed on site. Our trainers are able to come on site, sit down with your people, and help you. Support. That's something that we are proud of because not only we can provide remote and assisted support, we can also provide on-site support as well as 24/7 support, which is sometimes very important. If you have a mission-critical system, you need to be able to support it. And since we have customers all over the world, we provide 24/7 support from the American continent to Asia. This may look like a no-brainer, but it's actually not as simple as it looks. We are very much interested in case studies, and that goes two ways. We want to do case studies with you, new customers, new deployments, and we can help you with our existing case studies when you are bidding for the project, when you are trying to assess our technology, we can share the existing case studies with you. We have a whole lot of data sheets, descriptions of our products, with samples and use cases, and we are trying to keep our partners informed via newsletters, so we are sending out quarterly newsletter about what's new with our product, with our team, and so we are not trying to spam you, but it does make sense to let you know what's new with Innovatrics every once in a while. This is a new thing. It's our channel partner portal, because we realized that we don't really have a platform where our partners and customers could find all the product information, pricing, sizing documents in one place. So we have recently introduced our channel partner portal, which contains or keeps all the product documentation in one place. So to sum it up, we have marketing-related services, case studies, newsletter, data sheets, and we have product-related and project-related services. And the feedback, again, this may look like a no-brainer, everybody does that, but the feedback we are getting from our customers, and those of you who have heard Mr. Faisal from Saudi Arabia yesterday, we really care. We are there with the customer, and they appreciate it. And I think this is what sets us apart from the competition. We go the last mile. We are there with you to help you. So the effort that goes into all these services is not only about that. We also keep our engineering team awake, and we strive to improve the accuracy and performance of our algorithms. What you see here is the improvement of a speed of our fingerprint matching algorithm over the past 4 or 5 years. This is a very specific benchmark performed by Intel. It's kind of a laboratory thing, so don't take this for granted. It just gives you an idea of how our own algorithm is being improved in terms of performance. We are still focusing on improving that constantly. And last but not least, this is about us, a few numbers, so you know who we are dealing with and what kind of partner we are. We have been in business for 15 years. There's been several different logos, as you can see, over the time. And I think the curves or the graphs here are quite healthy, especially considering that we are a privately owned company. We don't have an investor. This growth has been 100% organic, so we didn't take any loans or anything, and that's the way we prefer it to be. Organic, keep it steady, grow as fast as you can afford, and I believe we have several great years ahead of us. So this should only go up, obviously. With that, I would like to thank you, and again, invite you to stay here, check out our product demos and reference our case studies that are about to follow, and I'll be here to talk to you later. Thank you very much.